What is up, everybody? This is Recap Rewind. I'm J-Lag.
And I'm NB.
And this episode is recapping and reviewing Riverdale Season 5, Episode 8, and it's called Chapter 84, Lock and Key.
Don't forget, guys, stick around for the ending of the podcast because we're going to go through our recap roundups, your recap roundups. We got so much commentary last night, so be sure to stick around for the end of the podcast. We're going to read them out for you guys. What else, J-Lag?
And as always, to your continuing listeners and our brand new ones, thank you for joining us. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Let's get into the episode, y'all.
Right. We're going to get into it. And I am just sitting here promising you guys a really juicy episode. We are going to pop off. We are okay with that. I let my fiance know that it's going to get loud up in here. But I really want to quickly say before we get into everything, this is not a hate VARCHIE podcast. This is not a I hate VARCHIE and I only want BARCHIE. We are not those people, okay? Yeah. I just want to say here that I'm okay with any ship. I'm okay with VARCHIE. I'm okay with BARCHIE. Yes. I think where our issue lies is how the writers seem to like weave through those two main ships, and clearly we have an issue with that. But like I'm saying here, if you're a VARCHIE fan and you're listening, we're not going to hate on VARCHIE. I'm just hating on the fact that how the writers are basically weaving all of these storylines together and how shitty of a job they're doing that.
You know, like a clown car, that's what it feels like. It feels like they're like literally filling in as much as they can into one episode.
Why
and just trying to get you to the next one, to the next one.
Like, why not just like let it simmer? That's okay. Like, I don't get it. I'm so excited to hear what you have to say because we didn't talk at all really about what we feel, but we know we're on the same page as we usually are.
We're just
and let's just get into it and let's rant.
All right. So it starts off already. I'm already done.
I'm done.
I'm already
end. Okay. Quick end.
So it starts off with Kevin blowing someone at a truck stop. And I'm just like, I can't, I don't know why we're doing this still.
I really want to talk to you about this whole the Kang storyline, but we can really kind of reconvene at the end when we get all the tidbits of it. But
yeah, so
again, the way RAS hypes up these episodes, the way he hyped up Kang's for this week, he was like, never like such a beautiful episode for Kevin Keller and like Fangs, and like it's so beautiful and like it's so this and I'm like, oh my god, he's finally gonna get like such a cute happy ending moment, or a happy beginning or like whatever, like a cute like realized moment. No,
it's like the opposite.
He goes like negative, like he goes backwards in time.
Which I'd love to talk about too, because I think that there's some validity to that for sure.
100%.
But it is just like one of those things where just like every other relationship in this episode, they just decided to blow everything up for no reason, it felt. And we didn't even have a moment. We didn't have a moment to sit with these characters and be like, anyway, we'll get into it. Let's get into it after.
Yeah.
So it shows him blowing some guy at a truck stop. They don't even exchange names. He goes back home and he's coming in with groceries. So right away, I'm just like, this motherfucker is cheating on Fangs. Like, what the hell is happening? So already we're set up feeling like, what the fuck is going on with Kevin?
Right. And I'm like, he's cheating. No,
he's cheating. Like, why are we doing this? So even Fangs is like, is everything okay? Kevin's like, no, everything's fine. It's all good. And so then it cuts to the next scene. And we get a nice little Barchy moment in the very beginning of the episode.
Sexual.
Sexy
it was
moment.
Very sexual. It was very like playful and like fun. Archie's more like usually, I don't know, like intense in a way, but like this time he was like, I'm gonna wear my fire, right? And then Betty was like, she was like, she's like, I was not ready for this. I was like, me too.
Me neither. Yeah. And I mean, she was ready because there was literally 17 candles up in that gig. There was like 25 million candles. Thank God he's a firefighter now, because that place is
those all out first and then put me
out. Put me down. So they have a really quick sexy moment, which I really liked. I enjoyed
Loved it. So cute.
They're so cute together. She does mention something that I was just like, I don't know how I feel about it, because obviously the way the episode went, like, I get it, but like she says something like, you've come a long way from like wishing you were a firefighter as a kid, and now like look at you now,
Yeah.
wearing a firefighter outfit to have sex with me. Anyways, and then it cuts to Pop's diner, and they're talking to this anthropologist that they called up, and now that the alien is missing, and talking about Jughead and Tabitha. What a direct shift, by the way. Like,
yeah.
the way that I talk about the show is literally how the show plays out. So like, it's not me, guys. It's literally the show. So
It's not me.
so they're talking to this anthropologist, Jughead and Tabitha at Pop's, and she's like, yeah, where's this alien? Like, show it to me. And he says that, like, funny story, somebody stole this specimen. Like, it does not exist anymore. Someone stole it. I blacked out on all this other stuff. And she kind of moves into this conversation about, she's like, I'm all about the supernatural. I study that shit, but what you're mentioning is something that sounds like trauma that you're like suppressing.
Like you're hiding something, or like pushing something down. Yeah, like
you're hiding something, you're pushing something down. And she's like, if you're like, you know, if you need help, then like there's a support group. And he's like, you know what, I'm fine.
Yeah.
He even says I prefer to keep it repressed. And I was like, okay,
it's gonna come out.
It's gonna come out somehow. So then it cuts to the Cooper residence, and it's kind of sad, but like the kids are making missing signs for their mom. They're like drawing little pictures and stuff. And Alice is like, this is great, kids. Like, your mom's gonna love it when she comes home. So like, obviously Alice is losing it. Her daughter's missing. So
do you find that like Alice has like two ends? She's either like level-headed, controlling type A, or she's completely hysterical, can't even form sentences, can't even think properly.
100%.
Why doesn't she have a middle?
She doesn't have a middle, for sure. I mean, I think that FP, when she was ever with FP, that was her middle, but she's always like an extreme person. Yeah. I mean, we noticed these sides of her in the very first season of Riverdale, and I guess it's kind of coming back to this fact. And also, like, she lost her daughter. She's going nuts.
No, for sure.
But yeah, I agree with you. Like, Alice just doesn't have a middle place.
She could barely form sentences. She's like, she's like,
thanks, children.
Can you
and then
talk? Like,
So in this moment, Betty comes downstairs and she gets a call from Tom. Tom says that there's another body that they find in the swamp. And she was like, is it Polly? And Betty says, like, it's probably not, because it sounds like this body has also been preserved for like from time. Then it cuts to a really quick, sexy sauna scene with Fangs and Kevin, with Kangs.
Yeah.
Looking super, super hot and sweaty. And this is when Kevin mentions, I know we're in a relationship, open relationship.
Yeah.
But, and then Fangs goes on to say, kind of finishes the sentences, but like, you know, now we're doing this, like, it's like what we're doing is a bit of a clean slate, like that part of our life is over. And kind of Kevin, the camera holes on Kevin, and he's like, yeah, that's exactly what I wanted. Like, he doesn't seem terribly sure of himself in that moment, obviously. So we know that some shit is about to happen. So then it cuts to I'm powering through this because I'm just like, I just want to get to that last moment, because I'm a pop off, bitch. Like, this is not good. So then it cuts to Betty calling Alice from the coroner's office, and the body isn't Polly's. Alice is like, thank God. So that was a really quick scene. And then it cuts to the lodge residence. Chad is messaging her on her laptop, and she's like, oh, not right now. She literally closes it. And in that moment, she kind of just gets annoyed, and then she decides to call Archie up to help to start the construction on
renovation, DIY, whatever. The only thing I have a lot of issues actually, but the number one thing here is the fact that, like, I feel like we went from Veronica not liking her husband to then like seeing that he might be really cute in a way, like they still have a cute like relationship situation, something could be salvaged, to now it's like nothing, like it's gone. It's Zero. Like clearly she's made this thing where she's like, like I don't even want to answer your like text. When did we get there? When she talked about Hiram? Like, is that?
I have a large issue with the authenticity of her feelings toward Chad. You know, like, you've been with this guy for a year. If we don't know how long they've been dating for, whether but they've been married 5 years or 7 years, they've been married for a year, right? So like, have they had these issues this entire time? I mean, clearly they were kind of struggling with something in the very beginning, But at the same time, I'm also just like, you're like a middle, you know, like you're in your middle 20s. It also just doesn't feel like something that Veronica would
You're
do.
so right.
Out of all
You're
of the
so
characters,
right. Yeah.
who's Veronica is literally the most calculated. Like she's always like
Planned
the most like
out.
planned out. She thinks of
Strong.
everything. Like, did this guy like, you know, I would be less shocked if he was like a Kevin Federline of her life and like, let's get married in Las Vegas and like, let's just do something kind of crazy. And like, it's out of her comfort zone. And she's like, oh, this is what I wanted, you know, like, I would understand her falling apart in that relationship, but like she decided to marry Chad. Like she went ahead and did it.
And
we
look,
still don't know why, like, you know, Hiram wasn't married.
Plane crash.
Plane crash. There's a lot.
Are we not going to get any of that? Like this is it. Like this is the end of those two. Like there's a whole history behind these people.
There's
and
just
like
too
it
much.
is like you said. Like it's Veronica. Like
It's Veronica
I feel
Lodge,
like she's
man.
a fighter. Like she would never be like, I'm done now. Goodbye.
I'm over it. I
Like,
can't do this anymore.
Dude, you're
Like,
married. Like
what?
you're. Like, this is your husband. Like aren't you not going to try to work it out? Like. And nothing felt authentic to who she is as a character. And I'm so happy.
Even. Could they not have just been fiancés?
Yeah.
Like, why make it
why marry?
marriage?
Yeah.
Why marriage? Why is it so big on marriage?
Yeah.
Anyway, like,
I know.
it's just that. Anyway, we'll get, I'm sure this is not the last time you guys are going to hear us yell about this.
And just really quickly, you guys listening on Twitter, you guys really did not like Veronica last night. Like Veronica, whether it was her or like her storyline last night in the episode, you guys were not feeling it. Just not feeling it. And maybe that's why. And we'll get to that later.
For sure. I mean, I'd love to know what the VARCHie psycho VARCHie fans.
Oh, they're obviously happy.
Like, yeah. Anyway,
jerking off last night.
So then it cuts to the school lounge, and this is where Veronica's talking to Archie. And she wants it done yesterday. She needs big changes in her life because, like, you know, it's just Veronica.
Also, like, what were they even redoing? It was like what, like wood in the back of the wall, and they're going like this. I'm like, shouldn't that just be drywall? Like, why are you like at the wooden frames?
They're like painting a set essentially. And so she's going through it with Archie. This is when Jughead kind of comes in to see what they're up to, and then Betty kind of comes in awkwardly beside him. And
there is zero sexual chemistry between BUGHEad, like negative. Zero. Yeah.
It is,
and I know they're trying to do that, but
yeah, they're trying to make it awkward. They look at each other and they're like, hey, and they don't really say anything past that. Then, this is when Fangs and Kevin come forward and they're like, we have an announcement, and everything kind of happens quite
also like
fast.
Why now?
Very, very
like why wouldn't this have been like at the beginning of the flash forward?
Yeah, or at the White Worm, like even the setting.
That's what I mean.
Why is
like,
it in class? Like, why is it in school? You guys are announcing your engagement and the fact that you guys are having a baby. Like,
what
the
it didn't make sense to me.
It just felt very rushed. This whole episode felt so rushed. They're going through big moments that people celebrate in their lives, and it's just like pop, 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 pop. Like, why?
And like, number one, you're right. Like, why is it happening in a classroom? Number two, when it was the flash forward and everyone's like catching up in their life, wouldn't they say we're having a baby with Toni? Like, wouldn't that have ever come up in conversation?
The first thing, yeah, I know. I mean, and that's the thing. It was like, is that her I don't know. I know that was a theory.
Like, it would have made more sense if like she got knocked up and then they were like, you know what, we'll have the baby with you. We've decided to be in a relationship. But no, they can't do that either because that would ruin CHONI, because that would mean that Toni hooked up with someone else.
Yeah, exactly. Because she's attached to someone else now. It just felt very,
it was terrible.
Very rushed.
It was terrible.
You know, for this whole thing that they're saying, like, oh, it's like Kevin and Fangs' episode. Like, where?
Like, where? I also have an issue with,
like, the fuck?
I also have an issue with, fine, I'll take Kevin and Fangs. I feel like they're not real. Like, I feel like they didn't organically
They're characters
grow.
on a TV show?
No, like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel,
the relationship.
especially with like Toni and Cheryl, I felt it. Dude, remember even Kevin and Joaquin? I felt that shit. Like, I was like, oh my God. But with Fangs, I just felt like they had these 2 extra characters, or like Fangs, and they were like, throw him with Kevin. They'll like be like a couple.
Yeah.
I just never felt like that, their connection. Like, what do they have in common? Okay, other than they're in a small town, they're going through like these things with their sexuality. But like, what else? What do they have in common? What do they talk about when they're at Pops? What are they like? What games do they play when they're together? Like,
Yeah,
we know so much about
exactly.
all the other couples, but we don't know anything about them in that regard. And like, for me to buy that they're like now engaged and like they agreed to have a baby, like based on what?
Based on what? Yeah, we don't get an insight as to
like,
what the relationship was before the flashback.
Because Fangs is hot, because he has 6-pack abs. Like, is that
he
why?
is a beautiful man. Like,
he is, of course. But like,
yeah, I just don't get that. We don't get an.
I have no like connection to that, because I feel like there's nothing for me to connect to, because I feel like they don't have anything in common.
Yeah. And then to that point, like when we see what happens at the end of the episode, it's like, okay, and like, should we be feeling?
Yeah.
Should I feel heartbroken for Kevin? Should I feel heartbroken for Fangs? Like, they tried their best as the actors. I think they tried their best.
No,
to
it's not them.
Portray it, but it's the writing. Like, they just didn't give them. Yeah. They didn't give them a story. Where's the story?
Like, you're right. Even at the end, I was like, it's okay. Like, he's gonna come back and he's gonna say this, and then I'm gonna fall in love with them, and then he doesn't even do that. I'm like, okay.
It's just such a wasted. It's just a wasted thing. Anyway, so then it goes to. So yes, Toni announces the baby, and this is when Cheryl's like, "What the f?" And then it cuts to like Riverdale. So then
Can I ask you something?
Yeah.
How do you feel about the fact that out of all the couples, straight couples, the lesbian couple, how do you feel the fact that they were the only ones that were given this open relationship dynamic storyline?
I mean, I feel like it's relatively true in terms of like society. I think that it like, when you look at the gay community, it's always like the first, like it's one of the things that people always talk about is the fact that there's so many people in open relationships. But I mean, I guess to maybe what your question is like, why not have that for anyone else? Is that what you mean? Like, why not have that opportunity for anyone else? Or are you saying that it's stereotypical to the gay community to have that?
I feel like
in an open relationship.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like it's a little stereotypical, and it was like the type A storyline that you would have given, you know, them, which I felt like, fine, go ahead. I get it. It's something that is common maybe, but like, fine, okay, I'll go with it. Why not do that to Veronica? Like, how interesting would that have been if like she went to Chad and she was like, maybe it's time we just like, let's stay married, but open it up and see like if there's anyone else. Like, I would have bought that. I would have been like, that's awesome. That makes sense for you guys where you are in your relationship.
Yes, I agree with you. I think that would have totally been a lot more progressive than hearing something that we already constantly hear, and it's already expected. It's so expected. Everything about this storyline is so expected. And I'm just like, I agree with you. I definitely agree with you. I know that it's something that's common, but it's not something that is necessarily like, this is the definition of a gay relationship.
We get it's common. But why can't you show that the other way is possible too? Yes, like, why can't they be stable? Why can't they be like, we're good, we're tight, we're committed, we're going to have a baby? Like, why can't you show that?
I mean, they want the drama. They want the drama for these.
But they're even anyways.
Let's digress for now. But I totally get what you're saying. So then it cuts to Cheryl kicking down Toni's office door, and she's like, "What the fuck is going on?" And Toni's like, "Well, actually, I wanted to talk to you about this. I'm gonna make you step down from the Vixens." Like, she gives her like 2 seconds to be part of the Vixens. It's gone. And Cheryl's like, "Why didn't you tell me about this?" And then we're also like, as an audience, like, "Why didn't you tell me about this earlier?" Like, she's almost about to pop. Like, that's the thing too. Like, it's not like Vanessa, like Toni's character is like 2 months pregnant. She's like 8 months pregnant.
She's like 8 and a half.
She's like ready.
She's right there.
So that's the thing that kind of frustrates me too. Is just like, why didn't they give? Anyway, whatever. So she says she didn't want to tell her because, you know, it's a little confusing. And also, you know, there's a little bit of a backstory that we get. And I thought it was a little unnecessary to like get this deep. And she was like, my doctor basically told me that I have to have a kid before I was like thing because like I can't bear children later. And I'm like, yo,
Fine. I'll take it. I'd say I bought that. I was like, I'll buy this. It's
I was
fine.
like, sure.
It's okay.
So then
Because it is an issue that does happen. It's common. Fine.
Right.
Okay.
But even Cheryl says like, but why Fangs and why Kevin? Like she's like, she even asked the question like, why them? You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, she did say she was like,
have the baby
Fangs,
with me.
Yeah, she did say she's like, Fangs is like my brother. And I was like, well, that's a little weird because then like you're raising a kid with your brother. Okay, fine, I'll buy that. But she did explain it. But again, it just didn't feel organic. It really didn't feel organic to me. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. So then Cheryl goes on to say, like, well, now you have an Insta family where I'm like withering away in Thornhill. And she says, if you want, we can try to make this work. Like Cheryl is trying to find a way to like, or no, sorry. This is when Tony's like, we can try to make this work, like you and me. And then Cheryl kind of shuts her down and is like, I don't see how that's possible now that you have a baby on the way with these bitches. So yeah, I mean, obviously Cheryl's really butthurt about the entire situation. So then it cuts to Kevin and Betty, and they're walking in the hallway, and she tells them about Archie. Yeah, she tells them about Archie and how like they're having this casual friends with benefits thing. But you know, and Kevin's starting to get excited because he's a Barchy fan, of course. Obviously, he's like the OG Barchy fan.
Yeah, day one.
And he's like, oh, that sounds like so exciting. Like, why aren't you guys like doing something about it? And Betty basically says, like, I don't want to jinx it. Like, Archie's like this person for me. Like, I see him in a certain way, and I don't want to like fuck that up, basically.
Yeah.
So it was interesting to see that. But anyway, we'll get to the rest of the Barchy stuff later. Then it cuts to Jughead teaching his class as he's talking to the class about this book. I don't even know / care about what he's talking about. He sees he sees an alien in the window and kind of like trips out. One of the students is like, bro, UK. And that's when he decides after class that he's going to call the support group because he's like, maybe I'm losing it. I'm losing my mind. Then it cuts to Thornhill, and Cheryl is painting Miss Marble in a painting as like Diana. I think it's like Diana the Archer, like the goddess. And it turns out that Miss Marble is basically blackmailing her. Yeah. So she's basically saying, she's gonna take this painting and because Cheryl's such a great painter and she won't tell the cops about the duplicate, whatever. Right. And all she talks about is Toni. She's like it's like going on your first date and all you do is talk about your ex.
Talk about your ex.
Literally
it's
the whole
so true.
She's like, oh my God, like Toni's so annoying. Like, oh my God, Toni. And Miss Marble says, you know, you either rise above it and before she finishes her sentence, Cheryl's like, throw a little chaos at it. And I'm like, for the trailer, bitch. Yeah. Like, we don't need this for anything else. Yeah. We did not need to throw any chaos. For the trailer,
bitch. That should be on a t-shirt.
Yeah. Like, that's literally the reason why they do these things and give them these lines.
You're
like,
so
there's
right.
no other reason why she would have said that. Yeah. Because, like, let her finish her sentence. She obviously wasn't going to say, like, cause some shit. Like, come on.
It was like when Veronica later says, like, I'm going to fight fire. With fire. I'm like, no, you're ice. Did you forget? It was fire and ice.
Like, get it together. You don't even know your own lines anymore. So then, speaking of Veronica, she gets a phone call from our girl Katie Keene, and we actually get to hear her voice.
So I died because I saw her name at the bottom, and I'm like, it said Lucy Hale, and I'm like, oh, this bitch is like coming into the show, like she's actually gonna have a cameo, which we've been saying all season. We're like,
this whole time,
like just bring them into the. No, it was like, hey girl, hey.
Yeah,
hey girl,
it was like her in a Zoom call, basically. Like they just got the audio recording.
It was an audio call.
And basically she says she saw Chad walk into some party with some other socialite bitch. And that's when Veronica's like, I will be fighting fire. With fire. So then she goes on to do something that I thought was shady as fuck, and I'd love to have your take on this. Really petty. And also kind of like, anyway, we'll get to it. Veronica
I knew she was gonna do it though before she did it, and
so I was predictable. Like, I knew exactly what she was gonna do, but that makes me the most annoyed. Anyway, so she gets home to the lodge res, and she's like, let's take a picture of our construction work, like you, me, and Jackson. Like
it's like two people. It's like Archie and Eric.
It just felt very like I wrote down what a user, Veronica. Like you
Yeah. I know what you mean.
So
you're
annoyed,
using them for the photo op, but also to me, what it shows is number one, that you're immature as fuck. Like you clearly are still immature. You're that little girl still.
the
Number
child.
two, that you still care about Chad, because if you truly did not give a shit, like if you were like, I'm done with this guy, you wouldn't even bother to like answer his text.
Who cares?
To like call him back, to post it on Instagram. You would not give a crap. You'd be like, go living your life and going to do whatever you want. That would have shown me the more mature Veronica, who's like past Chad and like she's moving on. No, she's still like petty as AF. I hated it. And I really didn't like her this episode. Really didn't like her. Really,
like the way they wrote her really fucking pissed me off.
Yeah.
Because at the same time, like it takes away from, like, even as a VARCHIE fan, let's say if you're a VARCHIE fan, you really want them to get back together. This is not how you bring them back together. She's using Archie in a photo to make her ex-husband
to make him jealous. Yeah.
Like, make it natural. Make it like, oh, he drops the fucking paint and like, you know, she gets a flash of his abs. We don't get any of that moment.
Yeah.
Nothing sexual, nothing physical, nothing emotional from either of them. She's essentially using him for this picture.
She even like grabs his arm to be like, show your muscle.
Like, it's just like, it felt so like that bitch from that club. You know, like the one who's just like, I want to be a part of these pictures. Like, she just seemed like not herself. Unless this is how we're supposed to see Veronica.
It's true.
Like, I don't see her that way. So seeing her in this episode, I was like, why are they making her do all this dumb shit right now? Anyway,
because they have no other authentic way of putting those two characters back together. That's why
they're forcing.
That's I know to them.
The frustrating
I mean, like,
part is like, we know that they can do, and there's so many other ways that you can do it. This was not how you do it, guys. This was like the shortcut way.
Yeah.
So then, in that moment, they all get a text from Gossip Girl from Cheryl. They're like,
it's like right away.
She's like, did you get that message from Cheryl? So they all have to meet at the White Worm. So then they cut to the White Worm, and Archie's talking to Jackson, and I didn't even like see this coming either. But basically, Eric says to Archie, like, oh, like, what's that thing going on with you and Betty? And he's like, yeah, that's going on. But he's like, also, I'm kind of into Veronica. But she'd be married though.
Like, that came out of nowhere. Like,
what?
I get it. It's Archie. Like, I get like but for him to even say that, I was like, whoa, oh, you're looking at her like that now? Like, that's in play now?
Since when? We did not get any of that from the last like 3 episodes. We don't get any of that information. Like, we literally were on the Barchy train because it looked like that was what they were presenting. For them to have gone backwards in this way doesn't make any effing sense. Anyway,
okay, I will say here, they did have a scene last episode where, like, by the fire truck, when she bought the fire, they gave a little look, cute, very cute, like, very like, okay, it's gonna happen. From that point to now, what has Veronica done to you that you were like, I kind of like her again, though? I'm into her. All she did so far was use your bicep in a photo to get like attention from her husband. Like, there should have been another scene somewhere in there for him to be like, damn, like, she's really cool. Like, I really do miss her.
Yeah,
like
100%.
We didn't get that either.
You can't do both. Like, you can't just do either or. You can't do like Barchy and then no Veronica. Like, you need to let.
I think they get scared.
That dynamic play out a little
I
bit
think they get scared. First of all, they're scared in general. The writers, that's shit.
But
they get scared to like have Archie be like this player. Like, he can't juggle 2 girls. That's like against feminism. Like, it's not that he's juggling 2 girls. It's that maybe he wants to, like, he's okay with hooking up with Betty right now, but there's something here going on with Veronica, but he's still confused. He's not playing them intentionally. He's juggling his feelings, and that's okay for like an episode or 3 episodes. Fine. They get scared of doing that, and they're like, oh, he like kissed Veronica.
We can't do that.
He's done with Betty. Can't do that. He can't cheat.
Yeah. And also, like, where's the maturity in all of this? Like, just, you don't want to touch just because she's married. Everybody fucking knows that you don't fucking touch anybody who's married.
Yeah. And also, she was still married. Number one, she's still married. The papers did not go through that fast. Okay, if you really want to talk about it, God, this show just kills me.
Anyways, yeah, so he finished off by saying, like, but she be married. And he was like, wow, you crazy, bro. You got 2 girls on your hands. Wow.
Yeah. He's like, oh, Sarge.
Oh, Sarge.
Fucking 2 girls. You're cool.
You're so cool. So then it cuts to Cheryl, and she apologizes to Toni, and she says she wants to host some sort of baby shower party celebration situation.
Yeah.
And then Tony's like, okay, sounds good. And she announces this party. She stands, instead of standing on the stage, because they have a stage at the White Worm, she decides to stand on a fucking table in the middle of nowhere. This club on a fucking maple syrup barrel, for all I know. Like, I don't know where the fuck she was. But I'm like, she starts yelling to everyone, hear ye, we're gonna have a key party. And like, that's the whole situation for this episode, is we're gonna have a key party. It's gonna be
at this point, I am hyped. I am so hyped for this key party. Like, I'm ready,
so
guys.
Excited.
Ready.
I'm looking.
Get ready.
And like my partner doesn't know, like, never watched the first season, so he doesn't know about like the iconic
first one.
Cheryl parties.
Yeah.
So he's like, what is it? And I'm like sitting there so excited. And I was like, just wait. Wait.
Like, it's gonna happen. Shit's
like,
gonna go down.
Wrong.
Negative.
So she's like, it's a key party, which basically means like you bring your keys, and it's a sexual switcheroo. You can do whatever you want, all your impulses, bring your well-oiled libidos, blah, 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 blah. Okay, cool.
Also, I was telling J-Lag last night, like, everyone agreed to like come to her party. The girl that hasn't left her house in 7 years, everyone was so down to go to her house party.
Okay.
Okay, like, is shit dusty? Like, do you even have furniture? Like, what?
Like, is there some guy gonna be doing construction while we come over? Like, what's happening? Do you have a sound system? So then it cuts to Betty at home, and Polly shows up in her room. She's freaking out, and Betty's like, oh my god, where are you? Where have you been? She's like, oh my god, the TBK, she's gonna find you. And then the TBK kind of comes over Betty's body and then like cuts her neck, but we don't see it. We just see blood kind of drip all over her feet. And then she wakes up, and it's a dream, it's a nightmare. And that's when she messages Archie to come over. And then he comes over, and they have like a little moment, but she doesn't really want to talk about it. She just wants to forget about it and just
escape.
She just wants
to escape with your
into your pussy. I don't know how, like, this is the thing that frustrated me the most, is like, as a friend, you would have come there and been like, no, we got to talk about this. Like, let's do it. And instead she uses him as a sex toy to get over it, which I don't know if you would do that if you were that vulnerable in that moment. Like, you were literally just had a psychotic, like, traumatic dream. Would you just be like, I need to fuck the pain away. I need to fuck this memory out of my brain. No, you'd be like, I needed someone to cry about. Like, I miss my sister. Like, Polly, when we were growing up, like, he is the literal epitome of like who could be a
took away
person.
All those moments from us. They took away all of those emotional moments that, yes, it could start off from a hookup, but in that moment, you're right. She could have said, I just don't feel good right now. Like, can you? No,
just
we don't get any. We did not get the right Barchy that I think was all the hints that we got of Barchy throughout the whole series. This was not the Barchy that we should have gotten. Yes, it's an element, that the sex part is an element of that, but there was way more of an emotional connection.
Yeah.
We didn't get any of that.
It's more that than anything else, in my opinion. Yes, the sex is great, and we're finally seeing it 7 years later, but like, it's more to that. And I know that Betty would not just be like, let's just fuck the pain away. She's not that bitch. Like, I don't get it. So the next morning, Archie's talking to Jackson. He's like, I didn't get no sleep last night because I just came in, banged my neighbor girlfriend hookup. And he's like, I thought it was a booty call, but it didn't feel great. And I was like, what a dick. Are you fucking telling me that you didn't enjoy anything about that experience? And
so hold on. They did have sex, but like, he didn't like it?
That's what I think that he said.
No, like did they know what? Okay.
Or were they like sitting in bed all day, all night long?
That's what I thought maybe.
But I don't think that that's a situation, because then at least he could say like, yeah, I thought it was going to be a hookup, but instead like,
it felt more emotional. I think that's what happened.
More emotional, and I just wanted to sit and talk to her. But then at the same time, then why would you say that? Why wouldn't you just say like, yeah, I just hung up with Betty, like she was having a bad day. Well, instead, he's like,
wink, wink. It's getting awkward. Better pull out.
God, it's just, why are you doing that to Betty? She's your fucking, you've known her for 7 years. How are you talking about her like that? That's so disrespectful.
It was tight. Yeah.
And he's like, you were right. There is something with Veronica. So like, he fucking realizes his feelings while he's fucking his fucking best friend. Like, I just, Fucking Archie, man, pissed me off. The writers pissed me off this episode so bad. Like they did everybody dirty, even Archie of all people. He's the most problematic, and usually I'm just like, this guy's a dick. But like they wrote him like an idiot, like a total idiot this episode. Anyways, moving on to El Royale. Did you want to say anything else?
Nope, I'm good. I'm gonna hold it in.
You're gonna hold it into the line. So it shows El Royale, and they're all working out. Kevin is there with Fangs, and he's like, hey Fangs, like I have an idea. Why don't you like bring up some of your old like hookups that you used to hook up when you were on the road as a trucker? And
to the party.
Fangs is like, why do you want to do this now? Like, well, that's so random. And he was like, before we like, get married and have a baby, like no strings attached, no guilt, no secrets. Like, let's just like fuck it up and like do whatever. And Fangs is like, okay, cool. Like I'll call whoever up. Like, I guess. Another moment that like didn't mean anything to me. Like I was like, okay, we couldn't even see you guys as a stable relationship. Now you're telling me that you need to fuck it up now? Like we just got to know you guys.
Yeah.
Anyways, so then it cuts to the Cooper residence, and Alice tells Betty Polly called her. She's like, yo, my daughter called her, but she sounds insane. And she was like, it sounds like she's in like a cold, smooth thing, like a spaceship. Like she says literally like a spaceship.
She sounded like she was on crack. Like
she sounded like she was going crazy. So for me, I was like, do we have to believe her in this moment? Is Betty going to go check the phone records and make sure that like it was from some like random number? Like, how is she, like, what is happening here? And Polly keeps saying like, my daughter's alive, even though Betty says, like 9 times out of 10, when someone's missing this long, like they're probably dead.
They're dead. Yeah.
So like, I hate to break it to you, but like she's probably dead. So I don't know. Did you believe her in this moment when she mentioned spaceship?
I really didn't. I was like, is she messing with Betty? Like, because like Polly's done this before too. So I was like, are they messing with Betty right now? Like, what's happening? Obviously, obviously Alice isn't messing with her, but like she just sounded weird. She sounded like she was high. She sounded like she was drunk. Like,
I mean, she's losing her mind. And
I know,
she's probably a little drunk
but
too,
she's been in really messed up situations before. We know Alice Cooper, and like she's never sounded like this. Like, very out of it, like very like not making any sense.
Frantic. I mean, I get it, but at the same time, the big question that I had was like, as soon as she mentioned spaceship, I'm like, is this bitch abducted from aliens right now?
Yeah.
Are they trying to make us feel like she's abducted from aliens? So yeah, we don't really know what's happening, but she believes that she's alive. She kind of like goes crazy on Betty, and that's how the scene ends. Then it cuts to the support group, and Jughead's there with Tabitha. And he gets called out to be like, what was your experience like when you got abducted, quote unquote? And he talks about his experience at the diner. There was like a flash, and this happened, and this happened. And she asks, like, have you ever blacked out before? Has this ever happened to you? Like that experience of losing time. And as he's kind of thinking about it, he has this vision of like an alien walking toward him. And then he's like, I can't do this right now. And then he like runs away. So something is happening to Jughead.
Yeah.
Let's just talk about that for a second.
Yeah.
So like Tabitha runs after him and is like, it sounds like you freaked out about the suppressed feelings. And I've been around enough people who've like had issues to know that like that really like hit a chord with you. And he says that he explains that like, when he was in New York, he was living in New York, he did a lot of drugs, a lot of jingle jangle, a lot of drinking, and some things that he doesn't even remember. Like he lost time there as well.
He blacked out.
So what do you think is going on with Jughead? I think this is a good time.
You know what? A quick theory I have, and I think right now my only theory, I feel like the town is pranking him for like writing their story so shitty. And I know that sounds ridiculous, but
yeah, we got a comment about that from our YouTube video, like just the other last week.
It could be a possibility. Like everyone's working kind of against him to like kind of mess around with him to like
make him feel
scare him and make him see these things. Maybe because now he's like getting into his own like head about it.
Right.
That's my only theory. What do you at?
I mean, I don't know if it's necessarily the town pranking him, but I do think that it has to do with the guilt that he carries for what he said in his book.
Oh, interesting.
Like, I think that it has to do with the fact that he's carrying this weight of like what I did to this town. And now that he's telling a new story and now he's like discovering even more, maybe the closer and closer he gets to Tabitha, he's like, shit, I really did fuck it up. Like I really shouldn't have done my town the way that they did. I should have represented them a little bit better. And like now that he's having this guilt, like the alien represents like him kind of fucking shit up because like he's got his own like dark shit to deal with. I can't think of any other reason. Like suppressed feelings, like he's been through some worse shit. So like guilt is not enough for me to feel like that's what's like haunting him. Like you'd think that like if he was that guilty, then he would be like a success. You know what I mean? Like he has so much success. He has to come back to this small town, and then
he like, made it on the backs of all those people. But like he didn't even do that.
That's the thing. That would make a lot more sense to me. But the fact that and I'm sure, I mean, that's my theory is like he had to go through these drinking binges and all this stuff because he felt guilty about what he did to the town and how he kind of like slandered their name or whatever the hell he ended up doing. But they don't really divulge in it, and it doesn't seem like it would be different if like everyone turned around and was like, the reason why this town is shit is because of you. Like no one ever wanted to come in. He didn't do that though.
Like it wasn't that big of a like a thing.
Yeah, they didn't angle it like he ruined all of Riverdale. That would be a different story, and then he would feel that guilt and make sense that he's like thinking that he's getting abducted by aliens. But like getting to aliens is a pretty fucking weird thing to like. I still don't know. Even by the end of the episode, I'm just like, I don't know nobody who has like suppressed trauma that like thinks that they're being abducted by aliens. So maybe I just don't know enough about people. But like I don't know what story they're trying to tell with him at all. Anyway, so in this moment, Tabitha is like, why don't we go watch a movie and just like hang out, like fuck the party tomorrow, like Cheryl's party. And he's like, no, this is exactly what I need. I totally need to like go and get crazy drunk at someone else's house. And she's like, I literally was just trying to ask you out on a fucking date. Like
also,
this girl is just
I get that they're obviously gonna get pushed together, but I really want to know, what is she attracted to him?
Agreed.
Like how like because right now, like Jughead turns me off like nobody else. Like that weird ass like here. Yeah. I'm not feeling it. He looks greasy every week. He looks like he hasn't showered. He's like moping around town, feeling sorry for himself. He's always drunk. I'm sorry, what am I attracted to? Like, what am I supposed to like? So I'm down for that. Like, I'm down for him and Tabitha, but I want to understand what she sees in him right now.
And I guess
other than a great writer.
Yeah. I think maybe we'll get to know her a little bit more and what her motive is. And like, maybe she has an attraction to people to help them. Cause like, that's just like how she is as a person. We don't know enough about her to really decide like how she is acting that way. But I agree. Like, what is his pull? There's nothing else about him. He's totally a flop right now. Anyway, cutting to the lodge residence. Our Veronica's helping Archie with the wall. Fucking shoot me right now. And they're talking about like what's happening with Fangs and Kevin, and like, oh, really puts everything into perspective. Like, you know, like what are we doing with our lives? And Veronica says, like, have you been feeling the same about your life? And he's like, yeah, I totally get what you're saying. Like, people are doing all these things. And then she goes, what happens if we get matched at the key party? Like, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? What the fuck are you talking about? Am I supposed to be reading between the lines that, like, you guys just want to fuck each other? Like, can you just tell me the fuck what you want to do?
Also, like
speak on it. Let's talk
about
this. There's
so much conversation to be had in that moment. And that's the question you're going to give Veronica Lodge. What are we going to do if we get matched up at the party next scene? I don't know. Like, why don't we just get there? Like, why don't you talk about other things? Like, how was your mom? How did you get your house back? Like, how are you dealing with your life after war?
Maybe.
Who writes this shit? No, like for real, like who writes this?
Honestly, that is a very good point.
Let's get to the other scene now, because I really want to talk about the other scene.
Actually, and a quick pause before we continue. You're going to tell me that you're breaking up Barchy, who Betty has gone through her own dark shit. She's literally been like kidnapped by a fucking serial killer. He's been through war, and you're telling me that Veronica and Archie have more in common? Veronica and Archie have more in common?
Apparently they do.
Why? Because she was in a helicopter and he was in a helicopter in the war. And
no, because they were together when they were 16 for like 2 years. And that's what makes them like soulmates now.
Soulmates, VARCHIE forever. Whatever, guys. And he says like, oh, is Chad coming to the party? And she's like, yeah, he's coming. I was like, okay.
Like, why did you even invite him? That's what I'm saying. Like, You don't like, you literally want to have sex with Archie. You hate your husband. Why
Don't
are you
invite
inviting him? He's
Just
like in
say
New
that he's not
York. Like, how is he
coming.
gonna know about Cheryl's party?
Exactly.
Okay,
Anyways.
but okay, this is what I want you guys to understand in this moment. This is where I'm at mentally.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my god, Chad's gonna come, Veronica's gonna be there, Betty's gonna be there, Archie's gonna be there.
Pop off.
Chad's gonna be like, no, Archie, you can't touch my woman. And then Archie and Betty are gonna get linked up, and then Kevin's gonna make the joke to be like, ha ha, like you guys have good practice at this. And then Veronica's gonna find out
Pop off.
that they've been like hooking up for the past like weeks. And then what is she gonna do?
None of those things happen.
None of those things happen.
Nothing.
No.
Not
one.
Not one of
don't
those
get
things.
excited because none of that shit happens.
Fucking kill me. Oh my god.
But that's how mentally I'm like ready. I'm like, oh
ready.
my god, this is what's gonna happen.
Like this is the party of parties.
That this show could actually write a good ass scene.
All they can really do is cut up a really good trailer. Is what I've learned.
So what you're saying is the editor is the only one that should be getting paid right now.
The MVP of the show. The trailer editor. So then it cuts to Cheryl's party, and Jughead and Tabitha show up together. They drop their keys in. Betty and Kevin are talking on the side. It turns out that Fangs is bringing some like next level guy. And Betty goes like, "Why are you doing this?" And he says like, "I just want to see what like he might be giving up for me to marry me." And then he says, "Maybe I'm also like an emotional masochist."
Yeah. This scene was like real though. Like it actually, like he got like really real, and I was like, "What a shame that it's happening like
now.
in 30 seconds at Cheryl's party." Like it's too bad that they couldn't have that conversation like earlier or
Agreed.
At some point with it, like in their friendship. Like it just sucked. But I was like, "All right."
Yeah, I was happy that he had it with Betty because I feel like it makes a lot of sense. But like they don't delve any.
They have no time and place. They don't know like where they should do what conversation. I feel like
they're just like boom. RIS is like see gay.
Yeah,
like he's just like he's like gay trauma done. Like nailed it. Checked it off the list. Like fuck you. You don't have anything more to give us. Like, we need more. Anyway, so then it.
All right, let's get into it.
Archie talking to Chad. Chad kind of like digs at him real quick. He's like, "How is it this like shitty town has like so many hot girls?" And Archie's like, "Call." And then he just dips. And I'm like, Archie, shut your fucking mouth. You're literally fucking your best friend, and then also wanted to fuck his wife. So just like chill.
But that's why he was like, ugh.
He's like, true. And then this random guy comes in with Fangs. I forget what his name is. Rick, something like that. And then Cheryl is talking to Miss Marble. And I wrote down, but also like randomly, why is Miss Marble like even a part of this story?
Number one, why is she a part of the story? And number two, why was she standing? Wasn't she standing at the front? Or was that Toni at the front? No,
just Cheryl at the front. And then on the side, like it was like Cheryl and Miss Marble like standing beside each other being like ready to go. I get that like Cheryl's literally the only person she knows. But at the same time, and they're also positioning them to get together. But at the same time, it was also like, if I was a random like art curator, I wouldn't want to fucking around with your friends that I'd never met before. Like, I don't know. Anyways, also it's a key party, like whatever. So then Cheryl has her moment where she has her speech of the entire episode. Cut the music that wasn't playing in the first place, and she goes. I know that we're all feeling it. The impending crush of adulthood, our 30s. And I was like, bitch, I feel attacked. Like, how dare you? How dare you talk about our 30s like that? And she says, it's going to be a key party. There will be no redrawing of keys. So, like, once you pick the key, that is what it is.
Every single rule got broken in that game.
Every single rule got broken.
So there was no point, Cheryl. It
all starts with motherfucking Veronica ruining the entire party for the entire cast of the show. So it starts with Veronica. I need to go first.
She's like, I never do anything second.
Yeah.
Okay,
right.
Go get your key.
Yeah.
So
you came second
picks
before
Archie.
Barchy too. Like just chill.
She picks Archie's key. This girl was like running to the door. Like she didn't even look at the husband. She was like, let's go. And Archie's like, and then Chad's like, no, like what the hell?
Not with your ex. Yeah.
Also, did Chad not know what party this was gonna be? Like
Like, didn't you give him the
Like
rules?
he came all the way there from New York and he didn't understand that they were at like a swingers party.
Yeah, exactly. I don't like. Did you give him no context when he showed up to this party? But I mean, also he was like not with your ex. Like you could fuck literally Reggie
Oh,
if you
okay,
wanted to,
yeah,
just like
true.
not with him.
Yeah.
And also there's a really sad moment where Betty, the camera cuts to Betty, and she looks fucking cheese, and I'm like, why are you guys doing this
Why
to
are
her?
you doing
10
her
years later,
so dirty?
you did her so dirty. I
The
hate you
first
guys.
time too. And that's what I'm saying. That's what I mean. Like, if this time around it was really Betty and Archie and they were like, let's go. And then Kevin was like, yeah, like you guys have already been doing it. Then Veronica would be like, what? Like, what's going on? And then Chad could see that she's cheesed and he could be like, clearly you still like there was, guys, there's so
Can someone
many
please hire
options to like go in that
MB
way
to write this fucking story? You guys don't know what's
Why
happening
wouldn't they
right
do
now.
that? Why?
It makes so much sense.
And it's not just us. Like when I was reading your guys' tweets, like after that scene, everyone's like, that's it? Like that's all that happened? Like the whole Riverdale show accounts are tweeting, they're like, get ready, the scene. And everyone's like, what happened though? Like nothing happened. Like
Flop.
She went home with her husband. Later, Betty and Archie go home together that like no one even notices. So it's not even a big deal.
Yeah, like literally.
Worst. Oh. We were so excited. Sorry.
Yeah. So as soon as Chad gets in this fight with Archie, Veronica's like, fuck it, I'm leaving. So she like grabs his keys and
whatever, I'll get your keys.
So she's out. So this whole thing doesn't happen anyway. And that's the thing that annoyed me too, is like she leaves the party. So like already Betty's feeling even more awkward because like whoever she pulls, even if it is Archie, it's gonna be awkward. Like it's not even worth it. Anyway, so then it cuts to Jughead pulling keys. He's already like super, super fucking drunk. And he pulls Tabitha's keys and she's like, cool, I'm gonna take him home. And he's like, okay, bye. So he leaves. Then it cuts to Jackson pulling a key, and it's Miss Marble.
Sorry, really quickly. Like even when Jughead went up to like grab a key and he's like sloshed,
yeah,
it doesn't even cut to Betty to be like, is he okay? Like, how's my boy doing? Like, does he need my help? Like, even a moment like that for Bughead to be like, instead of Tabitha holding him, for Betty to be like, hold on, I'll hug him, like I'll grab him, and Tabitha's like, no, I got it, it's fine. Like even something very subtle, like it doesn't have to be aggressive, it doesn't have to be territorial, but like even something like that where you're like, damn, like Betty's still looking out for him, you know?
Yeah,
none of that.
It just
nothing.
That's a really good point. Yeah, I just feel like there's such a separation in these characters. And I'm just like, who are you? People?
Yeah,
who are you people?
Yeah, the writing was very choppy, very lazy. There were so many little things that they could have tied together that would have changed that whole scene. And I think everyone would have loved this episode because of that scene.
Yeah.
But we didn't get anything.
It's like they got so distracted and focused on making sure that Barchy got to the end of this episode that they forgot about every little intricate detail that they could have added to make it feel like a real fucking party and make it feel believable. Yeah. Like that is a perfect example of how you would be like, how would Betty interact in
I was waiting for the cut too. And it never cut to her. And I'm like, what?
Instead,
is she not in the room?
Was like her cheesed. Her just cheesed at Archie. Like that's all we got from it. Makes her look like a sour biatch. And like, why are you doing that to Betty? What did she do to you? After 7 years, you couldn't even give her one fucking moment. It makes me so mad. So Miss Marble takes Jackson and like, good for him. I'm happy for him, whatever. And then Reggie pulls Fangs' key. And this is the moment that we got for the trailer. They kissed and he says, no promises, but let's see what happens instead. And I was
that was cute. Like Reggie looked.
I was really into
good.
it. I was into it a little bit. Yeah. And then Kevin obviously pulls this random guy, Ricky, whatever. And then Betty pulls Archie's key. And she's like, I'm still traumatized from spin the bottle from like sophomore year. I felt so bad for her. And I'm just like, yeah, I would be too, bitch. Like, why are you doing this again? Yeah,
it was,
why
it was
dirty. Set her up like
and then,
this?
like, even Cheryl was like, come on, cousin. I'm like, stop calling her cousin, okay? Like, you are not family. You do not talk to each other. You don't call her. You don't give a shit. She's not your cousin. Like, stop saying cousin.
See, I forgot about that. Why didn't
Yeah.
Cheryl Blossom help out the fucking Alice and like everyone else?
No,
like her
because they
cousin is
real
missing.
cousins.
Like what the hell?
She just says it.
So stupid. And then of course Cheryl pulls Tony's key. Tony turns and she's like, "You're a master manipulator. Like you had this as like your thought the entire time." And Cheryl goes, "I have a super surprise for you." So as I'm going through these notes once again, everything is happening like this. Pop, 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 pop,
Yeah.
pop, pop, pop. No moment to like actually sit with the fact that we're having like an epic ass party.
Yeah.
This was like the most fucking boring, lame, predictable, stupid party they've ever thrown in all of the seasons that we've seen. And we've seen some stupid parties. Like this was the worst one.
All right, I'm good.
Like,
sorry. No, I 100% agree with you. It's and they've had good parties. Like they've had really good parties.
They've had lit parties, of course. Trash. So she brings her to this area. She opens up the door and she's like, "Surprise, I created a nursery for you." Fucking psychotic.
Yo, she's legit psychotic. Like I've never been more turned off by Cheryl. And I was like, ugh. I'm like, no, girl.
That's not it.
It's not how you win her back.
And also, like, who puts a baby in a room that looks like a fucking coffin inside of a coffin?
Tony even said, I'm not like coming in this crazy, disgusting, scary house. Like,
yeah, like what the hell? She's like this hellscape house. And she says, like, this is a place that we can be together. It's a place that like we can make a sanctuary for a child. And she says, like, you know, like who knows what's gonna happen with Kevin and Fangs. I was like, you bitch, you really like went out and set this up for her. Like, what the hell? And so this is when kind of Toni has a moment where she basically is like, I'm done having a normal friendship with you. I thought I would try, but like this is clearly not gonna work. I'm sorry I led you on. I'm sorry I agreed to the stupid party. Like, I'm out. Like she's done.
Yeah.
So
that made sense to me though. That all made sense.
100% made sense. But also I'm just like, after all this time, Cheryl thought that made any sense to her. Like, has she learned nothing after all this time?
I do feel like she's losing it. I do feel like there's,
I mean, of course,
she's lost it, but like,
years, she's like by herself, but it's almost as if they've forgotten that CHONI has had progression over all of these years that they were together in high school. It's like she forgot how to behave around Toni. All the things that Toni taught her.
But she has, though. But she has.
She's forgotten, you're saying.
Yeah, like Cheryl like has lost it.
She just lost like her marbles.
I think
no pun intended.
No pun intended.
Yeah.
I think she's gonna have to find her way out of whatever she's in, and maybe Marble will help her with that and like kind of gain confidence again, or like see the world just more like in a real way.
It's a better way,
and it's fair. I do think Cheryl has definitely lost her way. Like she's crazy. You don't like what are you doing? And for Toni to be like, I'm out, like I'm not gonna be here to help you, I gotta step away.
It
made sense.
Totally. So anyway, then it cuts to Rick talking to Kevin, who, like, I don't even know where they are. And he mentioned something that I was like, I don't know why, because this never even comes up later. He says, did Fangs ever mention me while you guys were like hooking up? And Rick says like, no, like he never did. So like, what is that?
Why did he want to know that? Do you think like he just wanted to see if he cares about him? Yeah,
like I wonder if he was just like, oh, like in an open relationship, like you don't talk about the other person. Like, what are the rules of an open relationship?
Yeah,
that has all.
And even the guy was like, why would he ask? Why would I talk about you though? Like he's like, we're fucking basically. Like, that would be weird.
Yeah, like yeah. It's just. I don't get, and also like, to your point, like if you want to talk about open relationships, then let's talk about open relationships. This is not like how you define what an open relationship is when even the fucking characters are confused what relationship they're in. Like they're like, every single time I hook up with someone, I usually talk about Fangs before I have sex with them. Like, I don't know what the situation is, where in the last scene, the first fucking scene we see, he doesn't even exchange his names with the other guy. So you're going to tell me that you're jealous of Fangs not mentioning you while he's fucking other people, but you can't even talk to what are you saying right now? What is open relationships for you right now? Tell me right now quickly, fucking Kevin. Tell me, what is the story? What is your definition? Like, don't give them these relationship storylines if you do not know how to tell them, because everyone just ends up being confused. You're talking to a whole group of people who are in, like, there's a lot of open relationships in the gay community and they set their own rules. do not give it to these people if they do not know what the fuck they're doing.
And
Like,
and to the point of everything being rushed, I think to what you're saying, all of that would make sense. I think if you're questioning your relationship, it all makes sense. If we had known about that in the beginning, like when we came out from, we came into the flash forward, right? And we see the, like they're together. They could have said there, we have an open relationship, we're working through things, we want to see what's gonna happen.
trying to figure out what it's like.
Trying to figure out, at least for 3 episodes now, we know that is their dynamic and they're trying to work through it and they're trying to understand it. So him getting to this point this week to be like, but what does that really mean? I would have 100% understood all of that, because it's like, okay, for weeks now, it's been sitting with him, or even years, depending on how long they've been doing that for.
Right.
You get that backstory. There is no backstory whatsoever to their relationship until this episode, where they're now engaged, have a baby on the way with Toni, are in an open relationship. Like, there's all of these things, and it just, again, adding to what we said, it does nothing feels organic, like nothing, everything happens like rush, put everything in there and call it a Fangs episode,
and by the end of the episode it's all over. And
it's over. So
like, what was the point of all of that anyway? Let's just keep it's not even over. That's not even the last scene with them two. So then it cuts to Tabitha and Jughead. She brings him. Does she bring him back to her apartment? Like, I think
no, I think it was it looked like Archie's house. No, like on the couch in the living room.
So anyway, whatever. He shows up. Yeah, I think you're right, actually, because he wakes up the next morning. And he's like crazy drunk. And she says, there's something about your past that you aren't dealing with. I think you should talk to your therapist about your blackouts. And this is when he passes out on the couch. She like puts a little blanket on him. And I'm just like, again, back to your point. What is his draw? Why do you want to fucking deal with this drunk?
Even in this moment, they could have had such a cute little drunk scene for him to be like, you're cute. Or like something cute. Yeah. Like, you know, like something like drunk that he's like, he has no filter, or her, but like she's sober, but like it would come from him. But like, at least it would like link them together in a romantic way a little bit to kind of get you excited to be like, ooh, like somebody's gonna, maybe he won't remember that next week and then she will, but then she'll be into him. Like, you know, nothing. It was like, he's talking about himself as usual, fucking feeling sorry for himself like a loser, sitting on the couch drunk. Like, again, nothing. And like, that's it.
And also it goes back to the first episode we ever meet Tabitha. Like, she was this like strong woman who like didn't take anybody's shit, wouldn't make him like even get, she wouldn't even pay
attention to him.
And now suddenly slowly she's like, oh yeah, like for sure you can just get drunk in front of my face
and I'll drive you home and I'll be sober, and I'll have to take care of you.
Are you fucking kidding me? This bitch is a boss ass. She was living in fucking Chicago, making 6 figures. You're gonna tell me that she's come back to her little town so she can babysit a child?
And if she is, tell us the draw. Like, show me why she likes him. Like, why is she into this?
Because to your point, they could have way easily just had him be like, you know what? I think you're cute. So then it gives her a little bit of hope that like, maybe, like,
or she could be really like, oh, he likes me.
Yeah, like maybe she has a huge crush on him. She can't even help herself.
Yeah,
I get that, but like, he's giving her nothing. He's giving her 0. So I'm just like, what's the point at this point?
Yeah.
Like, why are you even bothering with this idiot?
Or it would have been fun if she was the one that got drunk and he had to take care of her. Boom. And like the roles got reversed, because now he's like, damn, he's the sober one and she's drunk and she's flirting and whatever.
We're going to change.
That would have been fun too.
Yeah, we're changing recap rewind to Riverdale rewrites. Like, that's going to be like our new off branch. Like, we're going to rewrite.
We should do fan fiction. Only on our Patreon.
Yeah. So then it cuts to our moment with Kevin and Fangs. Fangs has a really funny moment where he says, like, turns out Reggie is 100% straight.
That was so cute.
Which was really funny. Disappointment for the gays.
I thought he was going to be like, he's 100% gay.
Yeah, he got it going down. He got that dick. Like, tell us something funny. Anyways, so they're talking. Kevin goes on to tell him that he loves him, but he's not ready to get married. And Fangs is just pissed. And he's like, yeah, what the fuck? He's like, what is going on with you?
Until now.
He's like, you're waiting till now. You're the one that pushed all this stuff. You're the one that wanted all this. Why are you like, he's like, is it because you want to give up cruising? Like, what's the situation? You want to like keep fucking in the woods? Like, we can do that. We can arrange something if that's what you want. Like, Fangs is literally saying like, we'll do anything.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that kind of frustrates me, is like, in a real relationship, if this ever came up at one point in time, then like, you resolve it. You find a way to resolve it. Like, it just didn't make sense that it came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And then Kevin goes on to say like, no, it's not about that. And he's like, yo, we're having a baby together. Like, what is going on with you? He says, why are you imploding us? And Kevin's like, just like, I'm so sorry, and then he just leaves. And it's a really sad moment. It's
Very
something that
sad.
like,
Yeah.
you know, a part of me feels like I know what story they were trying to tell, and I get that, but at the same time they just didn't do it the right way, and it kind of did a disservice to what this relationship could have been, and what we could have taken away from this moment, and what we could have taken away from this gay storyline, the only gay storyline in the entire fucking show. Like, we've been asking and demanding for 5 seasons that Kevin gets like a good story, and instead you guys give him this haphazard, I don't know what I'm feeling right now, I just want to suck a dick in a trucker stop, like, and then next thing you know, he's totally destroying his entire life because Cheryl had a party. Like, what? Like, there's no reason for him to have had all of these issues. Yes, being gay, that is already enough of a reason for you to like be like, shit's going down, like I have some trauma, whatever, blah blah blah. He didn't grow up with a mom. There's so much that they can uncover with Kevin's story, and maybe they will, and maybe we just didn't get it this episode. But like, for it to be so abrupt in this moment, and for Fangs to be completely blindsided, like, bro, we're with you right there. Like, we are just as blindsided. We're like, what the fuck is going on with you, Kevin?
I 100% agree. I agree. No, like, you know where I stand, and I agree. And I do think a part of that, it majorly is because they don't sit in these storylines enough. And like I said, if they had intro these things along the way, when the flash forward started, you know, you're leading up to a moment like this. Fine, I totally get it. Like, it's fine, it's okay. But you know, it just didn't. No. And honestly, if they are the only couple that lasted that 7 years, like, imagine, like, they were the only ones that lasted.
Yeah.
In 7 years, now you're gonna have these issues.
Yeah.
Like, now you're gonna say, like, oh, I don't think I want to get married. Like, what do you mean?
I don't want to
like,
have a baby. Like,
if anything, they should be the example in the show of like, we stuck together, we made it through 7 years, we decided to have a baby, we're gonna be good. Why couldn't it have been like that? Why
they could have had them sitting in bed at the end of it all, being like, you know
like,
what,
we're good.
That was crazy, but like, I love you. Like, I'm so excited to have a baby with you.
Yeah.
Why
can't
are you guys,
why can't it just be that? That's okay.
Like, fucking
if it's
running
that.
off into the fucking wilderness, fucking into Fox Forest so we can suck another dick? Like, where's Kevin going? Like, where is he going? Like, it's just, anyway, it's idiocy. And then it cuts to some more idiocy with Betty and Archie talking on her bed, and she's like, we got the keys and we got the ability to do whatever we want. Why aren't we doing anything crazy with each other? And Archie's like, I think it's because we're right on the edge. And I
really like that.
And I was like, okay, like, continue. Let's hear
I like
this.
that a lot. Yeah.
And I did write down a lot of this because I did like what was said.
Me too.
It's just, anyway, we'll get to it. Let me talk about the scene quickly.
Yeah.
So Archie says, I have to be honest with you. I have feelings for Veronica. I know I shouldn't, but I do. And Betty goes on to say, you and I should make sense. The all-American boy, the girl next door, but at our cores, we're such different people. I don't want my darkness to overtake you. And then she says this whole thing. And then Archie's like, so you're going to face it all alone? And she says, no, not alone, still with you as a friend, because that's what I think I'll need. Not a lover or an escape, a window of light in the dark. And then he says, then that's what I'll be. So it's a really sad...
It was a very beautiful scene. It really caught me off guard because I didn't expect it to be that. I got emotional. I was like, oh my God. Like, and I totally understood everything she said. Like, by the end of that scene, I was like, I get it. You know what she's saying about we're supposed to make sense. Like, on paper, like, we are together. Yeah. But we are not those people. Like, at the core of who we are, we're not the same in that sense. But to your point, like you said earlier, and I liked it how you were like, but why not? Like, they've been each other's like rock throughout their lives. This whole time, they know each other so well. Like, why aren't they? Like, totally. Like, if anything, they are, and they could be. I didn't really understand how she was like, I'm about to get really dark and I can't take you there. It's like, why? He's been there the whole time.
You guys have literally been doing this whole time. That's bullshit to me.
That got a little too like thing to me. I was like, all right, I feel like you're just making shit up right now. But like, you know, like he knows that. Like he knows that it's gonna happen.
And that's the thing that frustrates me the most. Like, so what I was saying, it's true. It's like they just have history. They have way more history than her and Veronica do. And especially what's going on with Polly, you'd think that he'd want to be there for her. That's how Jughead got together with her in the first place. Like, you're bonded by the trauma of what you're dealing with together. And like, you think that instead of him being a fucking firefighter and like doing all this other shit, he'd be like by her side being like, I want to help you find your sister.
Yeah.
Instead, like, you don't see him any of those scenes. And that was also a choice that they made. You know, like they didn't make him become this person that's like, I'm going to help Betty. I'm gonna help her out.
I mean, she rejected him though. Like he honestly even said it. He was like, I will be there for you, no matter what you need. And she's like, I'm gonna go do it. Like, it's okay. And I'm just gonna like, I think he tried. I think he did try, but like, she's also like, and that's just the writing. That's where the writers are taking us, you know? And she said, she's like, I'm gonna need a friend more than like a lover. When I come out of this. And I did love that too.
I did love that too, for sure.
It's true. Like, but it is true.
Here's the one thing that I would say if I were to Riverdale rewrite this entire scene is, why does Veronica have to be a part of this situation? Why did that even have to come up? Him saying like, but like, I have feelings for Veronica, so like, I can't be with you. Why couldn't he just be like, I don't have feelings for you. Like, I don't feel like I can be in your relationship. Once again, he wraps it into like, but like, I really want to fuck your best friend. Like, it always comes back to this triangle. And it's just like, if you guys just extracted that from the entire writing of this scene and him just saying like, listen, I just don't feel it in my heart, period, statement. Like, I love you as a friend. Like, I know that we see each other. Don't mention Veronica. Don't mention the fact that you want to fuck her because like she's married or whatever. Like, do not even say a word about her. It would have been a lot more powerful, because what it did was it gave him another power play where she now looks like she's the next bitch. Like, she's the one that like he didn't want to fuck. She's the one that's getting rejected. Why couldn't she be the one to be like, you know what? I don't want you. I don't want to be with you either. And she does say that.
That's true, actually. I didn't even think of it like that.
But it's like an imbalance because he has like an
upper hand now.
Yeah, he's like, I don't want to fuck you, but also it's because I want to fuck your friend.
Yeah.
Why bring it up? Just say like, I don't want to fuck you, and she can say, cool,
I think the only reason why I was okay with it was also because I think he was being honest, and he was like, like technically, if you see me next episode with Veronica back together, like, this is why. And I think that makes sense too, because if he hadn't said anything and then they were together next week, like, she's gonna be like, when did this happen, right? So,
but then they're killing. That's the thing with this scene. They're effectively like stamping and killing Barchy and being like, this is it. We're done.
There was a part of me, and I hate to say this, guys, because like I've been Barchy like from the beginning. There was a part of me that would ended the scene and I was like, I'm okay with this. Like, in the sense of like,
to be okay with it. That's
I know. But what she said was beautiful. Like, she was like, we're not like, we don't have like, it's
we don't
not
have
us.
A future. We're not our core.
I did believe her when she said that. I did. Because like, she, you know, whatever. Whether or not they will explore Barchy again, like, I don't know. A lot of our listeners were like, don't give up. Like, they will come back. They'll find each other again. And it's like, these people think that they're gonna do it the third time. Scared. They are way too scared to ever explore an emotional connection between Betty and Archie. Like, they're too scared to do it, point blank. Like, guys, like, I love Barchy. I'm saying it right now. Like, I love them, but like, these guys are way too scared to do that. We got 3 episodes of them just having sex. Like, there was no like emotional anything. You guys couldn't give them that? Like, after all those years of being friends and like neighbors and like the light in the window, like
nothing. It's just disappointing.
Y'all did them dirty.
You guys did them dirty.
You just didn't do it right.
Yeah, this was not the ending that we wanted for Barchy. But like, to your point, I think the writing and like how they set it up, like the final moment for Barchy, I would have been okay with it if she had more power in this scene and it had nothing to do with Veronica. Then I would have been like,
you're
okay,
right.
I'm okay.
Having said that, I do feel like she had power. I do still think Betty had the power because she made that decision. She said, we
She
are
said it
not
too, yeah.
supposed to be together. On paper, we look like it, but we are not. And
Yeah.
and she did decide, and when I come out of this, I want a friend, and I want that friend to be you. So I do think that the power was still on her. She still had the power. This idiot's freaking sitting on the bed. He wouldn't have made that decision. He didn't even know what was happening. He's an idiot. So it's her. It's always been Betty who has to make these decisions. And like,
yeah,
yes, unfortunately, sometimes you're the shitty one that like has to, but you're the one making the calling the shots too, in a sense. Like,
yeah,
especially in this situation, like she did say it. I have to say, like they did give her the power in that regard. Whether or not he had to mention Veronica, you're right. He didn't.
not necessary.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's get to Veronica and Chad at home. Veronica decides that she was like, you know what? I feel like I've been avoiding this truth this entire time. This night confirmed something I've been aware of for a long time. And then it cuts to commercial. I'm like, just fucking tell us that they're getting divorced. Like, why are we like having to wait another 5 minutes for the commercials to go?
She's like, I know what I'm going to do.
Yeah. I like looked over at my partner and I was like, they're going to renew their vows. They're going to go the opposite direction. And then it cuts to Jughead after the shower, and he thinks that he sees something in the mirror. So obviously he's going through his trauma. Still don't know what it is. We'll see moving forward.
Yeah. Then
it cuts to Cheryl and Miss Marble, and she says, you know, Cheryl basically is like, here's your painting, bye. And she kind of hates herself. She's hating on herself quite a bit. And Miss Marble's like, you know what? Like, you made me beautiful because you're beautiful. And Cheryl goes like, I'm disgusting. I'm so ugly on the inside. I'm such a terrible person. And then Miss Marble goes on to say, you're gorgeous. They have a nice lesbian kiss in front of the nice windows. And yeah, what do you think about that?
I thought it was so cute. I was
into it.
Really excited to see how Cheryl comes out of all of this. And if this girl can help her kind of find her mojo again, like I'm all up for it. Like, let's do it. We got to save Cheryl.
Exactly. And yeah, I'm interested to see. I do feel like it was a little bit too fast for me. Like I wish I had a little bit more, but I'm interested to see like what happens next with Miss Marble and the storyline now.
Yeah.
So then it cuts to El Royale, and Archie's washing the fire truck. Veronica comes in and she tells him that Chad and her are now donezo. They are divorcing. And she says, in my heart of hearts, it had to happen. And this is when Archie confesses that he was devastated when he found out that she was married, but even more so, I was so sad to see you sad, and I just want you to be happy. And then she goes, well, there might be a way that you can help me with that. And before they kiss, he's like, I got to tell you real quick that I've been fucking Betty for this past like 4 episodes, so like sorry about it. He's like, but we didn't fuck during the key party. Like, it wasn't last night, but like we've been fucking since then. I'm like, just like fucking shut.
And she's like, of course, no problem. That's okay.
Sounds good. She's like, basically, I wanted to fuck you that night, so like it's all good.
She's like, Archie, like I always say, the past is in the past.
Like, since when do you say
the past was 42 minutes ago? Like, you're not gonna feel some type of way about that? Oh God, this show is like, so lame.
And she even says like, she's like, let me guess, just 2 lost lonely souls looking for a connection.
And
I was like,
he's like, yeah, that was it. That's pretty much it. You got it.
That's exactly what it was.
Nothing more.
Definitely nothing more. And yeah, so she says, I'm interested in what we want now in the present. And then they kiss. I just wrote down the note, it is so contrived. We all knew that this moment was coming. We all expected it to happen. So VARCHIE, fucking psychotic fans, I hope you guys are happy. Like, you literally just got what you wanted. I hope it was exactly how you wanted it to play out. No drama. Sure. No fun, no excitement, no like nothing. On the edge of our seats. Like, is it going to happen? Are they or aren't they? Literally, she's getting divorced. She fucking makes out with him 5 seconds later. You guys good with that? Are you good with that?
Yeah.
Are you guys good with that?
You know, like I said in the beginning, I don't have a problem with Archie. Like, I'm okay with Archie coming back. But like, guys, it's been 3 weeks, 4 weeks, maybe 5? Like, it's been nothing. Like,
she's been married for a year.
Give it some time. Like, give it some time. Like, all right, will they or won't they? yeah, like let's see some like sexual like tension. Maybe she's like, no, I can't, like I'm divorced. Like that shit makes it more exciting when it does happen.
Yeah.
I feel like we just saw them making out like last week, so like it's not even a big deal. Like these people are so scared that the fandom is gonna come for them that they can't even properly write like a full out
They're
thing.
like paralyzed.
When you used to watch Buffy, when you used to watch Dawson's Creek, you know, what's it called? One Tree Hill, like they used to like drag out these things and like make you wait to like the season finale or like like a crazy episode where like the characters finally come back together. Like that shit gets you excited. You're waiting for that moment. What are we waiting for now? It's already been done. Like it's done now.
It's done now. Here we are.
It's done.
Look, why don't like next episode we should just get them married? Why don't they?
Yeah, she could just get remarried before she even files her paperwork. Like
just elope in fucking Las Vegas.
Like you've been married to this person, you've been with this guy for all these weeks, like years. You file for divorce. Don't you feel some type of way? Call up your girlfriend, call up Betty and start crying and being like, my marriage failed.
My marriage is over.
Like,
I couldn't do
what did
it.
I do? Like, how did I mess up? Like, how did I get here? Like, I thought he was going to be the rest of my life. Like, the first thing you do is go run to your ex-boyfriend that you were with when you were 16 years old. There's gotta be more to a character than just who they run to. Like it's Archie. Like, you know, in a couple of weeks, maybe at the end of next week, maybe at the end of the other next week, she could have been like, Archie, it is you. And like, it would have been so much more powerful because you would have known that she got there. She put time into it. She thought about it. She's like, I'm over Chad, but I want you. This didn't feel like that at all.
No. Very, very rushed, unnecessarily rushed. I don't know. Maybe they thought they were going to get canceled this season. They're just like, we need to get them back together by the end of the season. Like, I don't know what it was.
I am so disappointed. And the most surprising thing of it all is that I'm not even mad about Barchy. Like, right? Like, it's not the fact that I'm mad about Archie being done. I'm mad that like about how they did Varchie.
Yeah.
Like you should have done Varchie better.
They did Barchy dirty and they did Varchie dirty in my opinion.
Like I wanted a more Varchie scene. I wanted them to like see each other in a couple weeks and like
give us the moment, like, give us the lead up,
have sex after all this time.
Like, come on. Next episode, we're gonna see them opening scene in bed. Done.
In bed. And then like for what? That 7-8 year gap? They never did that. And like that's what you're gonna get. Come on,
boring,
guys.
Boring.
Come on, boring.
Flatline, flop. Anyway, final scene. Betty gets a call from Polly at home and she's on the lonely highway. She's like, they're coming, hurry up, quick, whatever. And she's like literally like, where is the thing? She's like literally driving up with Alice, like, oh wow, like the trees. Like she's like not driving fast. Like, so anyway, they finally get to this place. They see this payphone like under like a spotlight. It's all like shattered. There's blood everywhere. And then that's how the scene ends. So there's no Polly, but there's blood literally everywhere. And then it cuts to like Betty's face being like, ugh! And then that's it. That's the end of the episode. I was more interested in whether or not Polly was alive.
I really don't care about Polly anymore. And I think I said that last week too. It's just like, I really don't care. I feel like she's going to be dead at this point.
Yeah, I don't know what they're going to do with her character. I feel like she is going to come out of this, but
is next week the finale or is it the week after?
The following week. So we got 2 more episodes before the finale, mid-season finale. Anyway, guys, let's get into this recap roundups. Let's do it.
Recap roundups.
Best moment.
What was your best moment?
My best moment is gonna be, I think just because the writing was really just beautiful, was the Archie and Betty friend zone scene at the end of the episode. Scene. I know, although it gives us an ending that we don't necessarily like, but I do feel like it was a very well written scene.
Yeah.
Considering that everything else was just
trash.
Yep.
My best moment is gonna go to Barchy firefighter sex scene in the very opening. It was very short but very cute. I loved kind of just like their banter and like their energy together. Love them. Love Barchy.
The energy.
WTF moment.
What was your WTF moment?
WTF moment, I'm gonna give it to the writers, like you said. But then also I guess like the bloody phone booth at the end, it's like demolished, like it's like gone, like broken
like they
glass,
ran them over,
covered in blood. So yeah, like I'm wondering what the F happened to Polly.
Yeah. My WTF moment is the writers for ending Barchy and starting Varchie in one episode. Like we've been saying, everything just felt very rushed. And also the writers for writing the most floppiana party of all time. Like flop.
Terrible,
flop,
guys.
flop.
Terrible
Party. What a trash party. Flop.
Trash.
MVP.
Who's your MVP?
MVP. I'm gonna say Betty.
Okay.
I'm really gonna say Betty. And I know you feel like in that moment they kind of did her dirty because like he mentioned Veronica. I do feel like she's the only one that has that maturity and that insight to be like, we are great on paper, but in reality we're not meant to be together.
Yeah. And
I need a friend.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. I agree with, like I said, I love the scene and I love what she says. I just wish that Veronica was not involved in that story.
Yeah. So I think for that, she's my MVP.
Yeah, she made a choice.
Yeah.
My MVP is going to go to Tabitha for dealing with Jughead's drunk ass the entire episode, dealing with all his shit with a smile. Like this girl, I do not know. She is like a saint from heaven. Like she's just like dealing with him right now. She's very, very, very patient with him. And I do not know why, but okay.
Like that's the thing with Jughead. Sorry, like that's the thing with Jughead. Like he's a loser, right? Like, like who's
like
like,
really is.
like, like, why doesn't he ever take care of anyone?
Yeah.
Why is it always
Why
someone
can't he
taking
be
care
the-
of his
yeah.
dumb ass?
Yeah, exactly. Like I know he's had a hard fucking life, whatever.
Okay, but
like,
everyone has.
everyone's had a problem. She got literally kidnapped
Archie
by
lost his dad.
like Betty got kidnapped by a murderer. You don't see
Archie
her
got
fucking
attacked by
getting-
a bear.
Like at this point, you'd think that they'd all be shit faced at this party, and maybe it would have been more lit. Like fucking,
It definitely would have.
he was drinking all the alcohol. And
Why
they were all
was Reggie
sitting there.
so low key? Reggie should have spiked everyone's drink and got everyone drunk. Come on, Reggie.
Everybody on Jingle Jangle. What the fuck's happening in these fucking parties? By the way, I was gonna say too, they made living in your 20s the most boring thing in the fucking world. You guys are gonna tell me that you guys have parties in your 20s like that?
All Debbie Downers.
Debbie Doubters.
Do not
Like-
hang out with people like this, guys. They will bring you down.
Yeah.
LVP.
Who's your LVP?
LVP, obviously it's the writers. Because they're dumb. You know what? I'm not even gonna hold back. Like I was literally like the Riverdale writers room was like, "Are you guys ready? Are you guys ready? Yo, are you ready for the scene?" I'm like, "What happened? I'm sorry, what
nothing
happened?
happened.
Did I miss something?"
Yeah.
Because I watched that scene and it was boring,
Dead.
dead, like corpse style. Like
Deleted
nothing
flop.
happened.
Yeah.
You know, it's just I don't know why they can't write good television. Sometimes they can, and that's the thing. Like sometimes they write
That's
amazing
the thing
scenes.
that annoys me the
That
most.
Betty and Archie scene was a beautiful written scene, but it's like a party. It's a party scene. What's happening? Like make it exciting.
Yeah. The most exciting scene was them getting their keys put into the bowl at the very beginning, and that was it. Like everything else was like
Like if y'all had Nana Rose there, she could have made that
she would
party
have popped
lit.
off. She would at least have had her camera in the back corner, been like, "Yeah, I'm gonna take all your fucking pictures, y'all, you bitches."
Like I don't know.
Bring out Jason, pop off, like use him as a fucking pinata. I don't give a shit. Like I don't fucking care anymore. Just do something crazy.
What was your LVP?
My LVPs are gonna go to our Veronica and Archie because Veronica, for obvious
Ooh.
reasons, I'm gonna give it to both of them because I couldn't choose between the two. Veronica for just like being a trash character this episode. I think they wrote her really, really badly. I don't think that it wasn't believable to me, and I was rooting for her. I was rooting for her to like get a better story and to like. And they could have done it. It's like we've already said it many, many times throughout this episode, but like I just wish that they wrote her a little bit better, got her to a better place before they cooked them together up again.
Agreed.
And divorce, like whatever. And then
Call
Archie
your
for-
mom. Mom, I'm getting divorced.
Yeah.
Mom, like there's nothing. It's
Nothing.
like
She just like decides, just like she decided to
Yeah.
get married in the first. Like I don't
Yeah.
get it. It's very unlike her character, and I just feel like we've lost like our love for Veronica the way they've written her in this flash forward, especially this episode. And it's going to be hard for me to root for her moving forward, to be honest. Like I don't even know how to feel about
it's
her.
gonna be
anymore.
very hard to root for Varchie. I can already feel it because of the way it all started again, and I'm just like I feel like this is cheap. Like it's fast. They didn't work towards getting back together, you know. And all the people that sat on their phones and tweeted about, "Oh, Barchie's just sex. Barchie's just sex. Are you guys happy? It started now. They're just sex." What happened? What's Varchie right now?
Yeah, what's the
then?
problem?
What's
They literally
Varchie?
made out after they got a divorce. Okay.
What's
cool.
Varchie? She's
Thanks,
not even
guys.
divorced yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Archie, for
Good
obvious
luck.
reasons. I'm disappointed in the fact that he pit the girls together against each other once again, instead of just saying, be a man and just say the fuck that you just don't want to fuck that girl and you don't want to be in a relationship with her. The end. Do not bring another storyline into this.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yep.
The best line.
What is your best line?
Best line is gonna go to Bet A.
That's hey.
And she says, Archie, you and I should make sense. The all-American boy, the girl next door. But deep in our cores, we are such different people.
Mm-hmm.
And it is true. Like,
Love
it's
that line.
at the end of the day, like that's what it is.
It is.
That's the typical storyline, but it's just not working out like that.
Yeah, and mine is actually also going to Betty saying, Archie's the lit window in the dark, and I don't want that to go out. I thought that was really sweet because it shows how much he cares about her and their relationship.
Like this girl is so effing mature. Like, what a girl to say, like, no, I don't want to be with you, but I want you to be my friend. Because I know when I get out of this darkness, I need you as my light.
I need you.
Like, that's like soulmate shit. But you're gonna say they got friend zoned.
Okay, bullshit. Anyways, let's get into your recap roundups. Starting off with MTV Horror Best Moment. Like, I was
are you gonna see?
Yeah, best moments. So this is gonna sound weird, but I am from WV, West Virginia, and I'm very familiar with the Mothman. And the thing about the Mothman is he definitely has wings. So my best moment is the freaky Mothman that's haunting Jughead having wings. I did not even notice it because it happened so quickly, but interesting point. WTF moment when Archie got back from comforting Betty and said it was weird and that he has feelings for Veronica. So gross and out of character, especially when Archie was talking about his own trauma with Jackson just last week. Agreed. Thank you for that comment. I agree 1,000,000%.
Agreed, guys. If we can't get to all of your recap roundups, don't hate us. We kind of just picking and choosing a bunch of them because we got so many last night.
So many.
But at Ruthie Ann, best moment, Betty and Archie scene in the bedroom after the key party. It was sad, and I think she saw Archie's feelings for Veronica and called it quits. MVP Tabitha, she was really present in this episode. She's becoming my new favorite. Agreed. LVP faced with rolling eyes, Archie for still not able to make up his damn mind. Veronica, at this point, I can't anymore. I have no words. Cheryl for being so messy. Why does she want people to be unhappy? Because she isn't unhappy. It's like they didn't grow up. And then writer for having us in circles again.
Yeah.
Very good point. WTF moment. All the VARCHIE scenes. I was like, wait, why are we going back? I stopped watching the last scene as she walked in. Best line. Wait, please don't tell me you and Jughead are getting back together. Kevin to Betty. I was LMAO. I should have said this was my best moment. I want to vent, but won't. I had faith in season 5, and I don't want to lose faith. I have little left. So let's see, writers.
I am Batman 1233 says best moment when the show ended because they broke up the best couple. Hashtag Barchy. That's so sad. I'm so sorry you're feeling that way. WTF moment when Archie immediately retreated to Veronica. More like Veronica retreating to Archie, but sure.
Yeah.
Best line, the credits song, because I'm so upset that they did Barchy so dirty.
That's so funny. At Sierra and Johnston, MVP, you guys for managing to get that's so cute.
Thank you.
You guys for managing to get through this episode. LVP, the writers, because they are ruining Barchy's perfect plot. Best line, Archie is the light in the window. Sounds like everyone kind of had that as their it was a beautiful line.
It was.
WTF, Archie and Ronnie kissing for some reason. Best moment, Barchy scene with Archie in the fireman outfit.
C. Owen says MVP, Kevin Keller for still being the biggest Barchy shipper. Still, best moment, Cheryl loving Toni so much that she made her a nursery at Thornhill. All right, sure. WTF moment is Archie hooking up with Veronica at the end of the episode, like out of nowhere. I'm glad to hear these things because it really makes me feel validated. Like, I know between you and me, MB, like, we're always popping off and we always kind of see how it is. But I really appreciate you guys coming in and saying the things that you have because it makes me feel like we're not crazy. No,
honestly, like this, like seeing your guys' tweets and stuff, especially, like I'm like, okay, we're not like psycho like fans. Like we are actually, you guys are 100% agreeing with everything that we're saying, and it's really unfortunate because you see the fandom, or I'm seeing the fandom, and like maybe a part of the fandom, not obviously there's VARCHIE everywhere, but you know, you guys want these real organic storylines, and like we're not getting that. And I'm wondering in the writer's room, like, where are you guys going wrong? Like, where are you guys saying that, yes, this episode is sick, it's so good, like let's submit this? Like, hold on, like, did you it's just, I don't know. I don't know where they go wrong and why they don't see these things, and why are we seeing these things?
Yeah, I feel like more than anything else, it's like what you've been always saying is like, it's the fear. It's the fear of the shippers going fucking crazy. But it's sad because you never gave Barchy a chance. You never gave them the moment to be like, we love Barchy too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we support this relationship and we can be normal adults about this and not be like, oh God, we got to get back to Barchy super quick because like, even though we really like the storyline, we want to like get back to these guys real quick because they are our fan base. They are the ones that are going to like boycott the show and all this other shit that they do, whatever. I'm just like, how could you guys be that scared to write your own show? Just write the fucking show the way that it should be written. Like, or don't even bother giving us a moment. Like, why even shake it up if you guys are just going to fake shake it up? Like, this was all of this.
That's what someone said. I saw someone tweet. They were like, then why did you guys even do this? Like, you should have kept it how it was before. If you're so scared, like don't even shake it up. Like, no, because they know they're gonna have the promos and they're gonna get everyone excited. So you're gonna start rewatching it, but then they're gonna curtail you and they're gonna go back to what it's always been. Anyway,
we see you. The real fans see you and understand why you guys being wrong. You guys gotta live with yourselves for writing these fucking storylines. That's on you.
Yep.
Anyway, with that, thank you for all of your comments. Like MB mentioned, we couldn't get through all of them. You guys gave us so many, but thank you. With that, I would like to take this time to thank our patrons of the episode, our Rewinder squad, White Nicole, White Nicole, our lit rewinders, Tina Ann, Soleil, and Kate, and our mommy rewinders, Becca, Sarah, Tamala, and Grace. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you guys. And if you would like to join our Patreon family, check us out at patreon.com/recap_rewind. We're doing a bunch of extra things for you guys, especially because we're going to have a 4-month hiatus. So tweet us, comment us, IG us, send us a bunch of ideas. If you guys want us to make more videos, let us know and we will put something together for you guys.
And also make sure you guys are checking us on all of our socials to stay in touch. Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook. You can also find us on Google Podcasts, Spotify, and iTunes. Make sure you guys are liking, subscribing, following, reviewing, and commenting to stay engaged with us at Recap Rewind. Thanks for listening.
Bye.